Getting ready for the second semifinals out here at Silver Lanes in East Hartford, Connecticut. Across from Rentschler Field, home of the UConn Huskies football team. It'll be Derek Hamm and Miles Coplan. And Hamm, this is his first chance at a title in this August tournament for NEBA. Don Harger, Brian Arizera, entire CPTV Sports crew on Hamm with you. And 23 years young, battle a couple 20-year-olds. There's Miles Coplan. And Derek Hamm getting set to get us started. He's out of Rainham, Massachusetts. And Coplan out of Manchester, New Hampshire. Hamm's first ball. Big strike. There's a good way to start.
I'll tell you what, that's a great shot. Television, semifinals against Miles Coplan. Just go up there and just put it right where you have to. Perfect shot.
Followed on through, and that new skin that you were talking about, I think he was putting either some super glue or something on his thumb, and we were wondering why there was a delay in his approach, and then all of a sudden you look on down, he's got this little tool kit.
Yep.
Pulls it on out.
You got to have the tools.
And I was watching this guy in the round of 32, and his ball was exploding at the tail end. That one sounded very soft, and he gets the big 7-10 split out of Manchester, New Hampshire, otherwise known as Manch Vegas.
Miles is definitely a rock star cranker here on the NEBA Tour. He's going to throw the ball with a ton of revs and a ton of speed. If he keeps the ball light in the pocket or in the pocket, it's going to benefit him. If he gets it a little bit high, like we just saw, it's going to be high risk, high reward kind of a thing. He went a little bit high, left the split. If you're going to make a bad shot, leave a split, the first frame is the frame to do it.
Now, you talk about routines and gear and technology, and we'll take a look at the bowling technology a little bit later on with a feature with you, but it looks like every time he wipes his ball off and then he puts some of that, what is it, talc powder?
Yeah, it's creature of habit. You go through the same pre-shot routine so that every shot feels the same. Now that time he makes an adjustment. He goes high on the right lane, so he probably moved a couple of boards left, he made an adjustment, goes light on this lane, he's looking at a washout. Now, even though this looks like a split, if it contains the head pin, it's not considered a split. So we have the head pin, it's a makeable shot. He's got to cross over to the Brooklyn side, if you remember.
Oh, that's right, the Brooklyn side. And what's the Greek church when you go straight through?
Yeah, that's ugly. That's a big split. So he doesn't cross over, and he gets the 3, doesn't get the head pin to go over into the 10 pin, and he started off with 2 opens. He kind of gave a big favor to his opponent, Derek Hamm.
You can see right here.
See how he tried to go over, it just didn't get there quite enough.
And do you think that has to do with the fact that these lanes have been bowled on a couple of games throughout the course of the afternoon and don't get re-oiled?
Yeah, this pair right here they saved for the finals. So there's only 2 games that have been bowled on this particular pair. Now, the lane 23, the left lane may be a little tighter than 24. We have to see how Miles reacts and what kind of ball reaction he's getting. But I have to say, Derek leaving the weak 10 pin on the right lane, it doesn't appear that he made any kind of an adjustment off the strike on 23. So for him, the lanes may be playing pretty close to the same.
And he just misses it right at the tail end.
You do not want to do that. You know, your opponent started off with 2 opens. You've got a strike in the first frame. You leave a 10 pin. You make the spare. You're well in the lead. You miss a spare like that, you just gave Miles Coplan, what's that, the defibrillator? Boom, back to life.
Well, you got to think in the first semifinal, you have the veterans, the older guys. And here in the second semifinal, you got the young guys. You know, maybe they can't deal with the pressure, the lights of TV.
It's a possibility. You definitely have that factor. I don't know how many times Derek has been on television, if any at all. This is his best finish on the NEBA Tour in the top 16, so he may be a rookie on television, and nerves may play into it. I know Derek has been here a bunch of times. He's got a lot of experience too.
Started bowling at the age of 2, been bowling for 21 years.
He goes by the 2-pin and doesn't cover. And he just put Miles right back into the driver's seat. So we're going to see how Miles reacts with those 2 breaks. He's going to make sure he puts this ball in the pocket.
And as you mentioned, the same routine for Miles Coplan. He too has been bowling 21 years, started at the age of 5. And there it is, there's that opportunity, and he's able to capitalize on it with a big strike.
One match to get into the finals, you know, you just can't make mistakes.
And we were talking about the bleeding thumb of Vialli in the first semifinals, and what I've seen Coplan, he's got it looks like sandpaper, where he puts his thumb into it and he spins the ball. And is he just readjusting that thumb area?
So there's 2 different products that you would put on your thumb. And Miles with a double.
Yeah,
great job. There's two different products. What I do is I put powder on my thumb. I like the thumb hole nice and tight, and I put powder on my thumb so I can get out. And I can feel, I've got tape in the thumb hole as well, 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of tape. So if I'm swollen, I take a couple pieces out. If it's cold outside, I put a couple pieces in. You like that feel. Other people use rosin. They like the thumb hole just a little bit bigger, and they use rosin so they don't drop the ball.
Now we're getting a match.
Yep, Derek settled down. If he's anything like me, he's been beating himself up on the side, because I do that too. But Miles went up with the door wide open through a double. Derek knows he has to bring it now, so that was a great shot right there.
See, all the intricacies of this sport, you know, to the average Joe like myself, you either bring a ball on in, you get some shoes at the front desk, and you throw it down the lane and hope for the best.
Exactly.
Now when you get to this level, as both Coplan and Hamm go back-to-back strikes, and we're starting to get a match of this one in the second semifinals. The winner of this are going to take on Bill Webb for the August tournament championship. And we'll have it for you right here on CPTV Sports. But there's Hamm on the follow through as Coplan getting set to go.
Derek makes another great shot right there just to put himself back in the match.
Yeah, well, right at that tail end, it looked like it was about to explode and just crush through all the pins. And what I noticed, it just right at the last minute broke left, missed that head pin, and completely blew out that backside.
Miles is looking at his hand, and he's kind of flexing his fingers open and closed like he may have tweaked something. When you're off on your timing, that's what happens. Like a baseball pitcher, if they try to throw too hard, the ball goes high. He probably got off on his timing a little bit, and something may have tweaked in his hand.
He's able to finish up with a spare. And I'll take a look at that hand on the way back to his seat.
You know, such as a baseball pitcher, your rhythm is everything. And if your timing is perfect, your arm slot's going to be right. Bowling is the same exact way. It's repetitive motions. And if you run to the foul line a little bit quick with your feet, your timing is off, all your muscles just change a little bit. And then you start using other muscles that you don't normally use. So we're going to watch Miles. He's probably going to slow down his feet on this next shot, stay nice and low, make sure he's clean. Oh, that went left again.
And he's able to get a strike out of it. If you're a beginning bowler, or you bowl for a hobby, not as serious as these guys, how do you determine the weight of the ball that you should start with?
Well, so the sport of bowling to the average person has to be fun. you can't throw a bowling ball that's so heavy that your arm or your wrist or your fingers hurt. You want to make sure that you fit yourself properly in a bowling ball that's not too big holes, not too small, so you want to feel it. You can guess at 10% of your body weight. When you get to my age, or my weight, they don't make 30-pound bowling balls, right? As Derek goes up and leaves the 6-pin, a relatively easy shot, but again, he creeps high as well. So you tend to go about 10% of your body weight, but again, it's comfort. So if you're 16 years old and you're 150 pounds, you want to try a 15-pound bowling ball, that's fine. If you're finding that it's a little bit difficult, go down to 14, go down to 13, it doesn't matter. Just have fun, and you know, just it's a fun sport that you can actually participate in for a very long time. You just have to make sure your equipment is correct.
Good spare by Hamm, and actually a little bit of a history on the game. It actually dates back to ancient Egypt and the Roman Empire, but standard rules were established in New York City on September 9th of 1895. And 95 million people participate in bowling in across 90 countries.
That's awesome. There's a big diversity.
It's one of those things that's just popular.
Yep.
And especially a lot. It's seasonal, but it's not seasonal, because in the winter you seek to it because it's a night out of fun. But in the summertime, though you want to be outside, if you want a place that, you know, if it's a hot, muggy day outside, one place is always cold.
Right.
The bowling alley.
Yep. It's always dry. It's always nice.
And a good spare right there by Hamm. Here at Silver Lanes in East Hartford, Connecticut, for the NEBA August tournament. We're in the second semifinals. The winner of this between Derek Hamm and Miles Coplan going to take on Bill Webb for the title. And Silver Lanes, 52 lanes. It's a split, as you saw earlier on when you come on through the door. Lanes on the left, lanes on the right, and newly renovated here in the past couple of years.
Miles keeps going high, keeps crossing over too high on the head pin. He's got to make an adjustment pretty quickly. With this spare, he's still going to be tied in the match, which is fine. They're through 7 frames, both bowlers, and it's a tie game. So both bowlers know all they have to do. Don't even worry about what happened up until this point. The match is really 3 frames to go, but he's got to find the pocket pretty quickly.
Able to get the spare there, and so it's like a new slate here for both these guys. And sitting on down watching.
What might be going through Miles' head right now is when he did make that big adjustment early in the match, he missed the head pin. Remember, he left the washout, so he probably doesn't want to move too far, but he definitely has to move somewhere to get a little bit more oil on the lane so the ball doesn't cross over too high to the Brooklyn side.
Coplan, while Hamm was bowling, was back here with that new skin that you were talking about, applying it to his thumb.
Creeps up high again, and he leaves a big split. You saw him move a little bit to the left, but he moved his target way left as well, and he just didn't get it right enough of the head pin for the ball to set up and then come back. It actually set up right on the head pin. So in the 8th frame, a crucial part of this match, Miles puts the door wide open for Derek.
And he takes the 2 over in the corner. And now Derek Hamm will come on up. And Hamm has the pin up on the back of his shirt. You're allowed 3 tournaments to bowl without your name. It has to be embroidered or screen printed on. Part of the NEBA rules. You get more information about NEBA at bowlneba, NEBA.com.
That is a perfect shot from Derek Hamm. Boy, right in a crucial part of this match, he goes up there. You can't throw it any better than that. That was a great shot. His arm swing was just fluid right there. Makes a perfect shot. Boy, if he throws one right here, he puts a ton of pressure on Miles Coplan.
Has bowled only 300 games in his career.
You see what he does? He pushed it out a little bit too far to the right. Not enough friction, not enough dry out there to bring that ball back. That's a tough. We learned it's not a split, right? It's a tough spare because it has the head pin. It's the washout. He's got to cross over to the 1-2.
What's the funny name you got for this?
This is a washout.
A washout.
Yeah.
Have you made up any terms on your own? I think you should.
I made up new swear words, which is I'm not going to say. That's a great cover right there.
Huge.
Right? So the whole match, you're trying to put the ball in the 1-3 pocket. Then all of a sudden you leave a spare right here that you have to cross over. Not easy. So he moves the boards, maybe 3-4 boards on to the right, and he gets a ball to go into the 1-2 pocket. The 1 has to hit the 10 pin to make the spare. It's a great cover.
Here's Coplan. We'll see what kind of adjustment he'll make.
That's
pretty
a good shot. So Miles Coplan, the best he can do is a 190, and sometimes that's good enough. He's just got to make sure he strikes out right here, gets 190. That puts a lot of pressure on Derek. If he doesn't strike on this ball, he's looking about 170, and all Derek would need is a spare.
Able to stay in his same routine.
That's left. Big break right there. And I don't know exactly what it is that's causing Miles Coplan to go to the left a lot, but he just got a lucky break right there on throwing a Brooklyn strike.
And you can see the thumbs up right at the tail end.
Yeah, it was facetious. He should be happy he got the break, but I think he was a little bit upset with himself.
One of those sarcastic thumbs up.
Exactly. But he has to know right here, this shot's the biggest shot of the match right here. If he strikes here, he's going to make Derek show up in the 10th frame and throw. Oh, that was way right. So he needed that to put a lot of pressure on Derek. What he did, made the adjustment off the Brooklyn strike, missed way right, doesn't come back, leaves a relatively easy spare, but he's only going to shoot 177 if he makes this.
Yeah, you can saw him a ball wind up hitting the oil and just traveling right, and then right at the tail end it just hooked back in, but it was already past that head pin.
You know, that was the great equalizer in this tournament. Every time you bowled a certain level, before you go on to the next level, they oiled the lanes. It kind of gave everybody back to square one. As lanes get bowled on, they get drier and drier, and they help guys like Miles Coplan, who throws it hard, throws a lot of revs. They really help those guys. By oiling after every major part of this tournament, they actually bring it right back to ground zero, and they make you bowl. I think it's a great way to have a good tournament.
Here's Derek Hamm.
And he tries the Brooklyn side, and he gets it.
And he likes that, a big smile and a fist pump there. He'll check his thumb and the glue.
So Derek needs two pins on the next 2 balls. I think we have a lock right here. I think we have a final match.
You should tell him he's got to close his eyes. Make it interesting.
Right. Throw it between your legs or something.
I got a buddy that can do that.
Yeah?
And throw it for a strike.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it done plenty of times. Very interesting.
That, I think, was an area check. So he knows he made it into the next match. He threw the ball. He threw a line where he wanted to kind of see what would happen. Wasn't a favorable result. So I don't think he's going to use that line next game against Billy.
So it'll be the up-and-comer versus the newly inserted Hall of Famer.
So each time we've done a telecast here on CPTV Sports, we've crowned a brand new champion.
Yeah.
So
he's got the odds with him.
Exactly.
So that'll do it. Congratulations goes on out from Coplan to Derek Hamm. And it'll be a matchup between Derek Hamm. You can see right here, finish on up and solidifying everything as he'll face off against the veteran and Bill Webb, coming up in the championship next on CPTV Sports. And we're inside of Silver Lanes here in East Hartford, Connecticut, as we get set for the championship. Here in the NEBA August tournament, it'll be a matchup between Bill Webb and Derek Hamm. But each time we come on out with CPTV Sports, we learn a little bit about the game of bowling, and it's not just taking a bowling ball and throwing it down the lane. Let's send it on out to Don Hartford and see exactly what he will teach us here in Don's Bowling 101.
Thanks, Brian. Last telecast, we talked about the different bowling balls and the technology that is inside of every one of these balls. Different companies, all these bowling balls have a different surface, different weight block. It's amazing the technology in the bowling balls. This week, we're going to take a look at the shoes. Believe it or not, it's not just about comfort and style and color. Technology has made it all the way into our bowling shoes. And I'm going to take a look at a few different bowling shoes for you and show the difference. Here, obviously, is a female pair of shoes, but when you look at the underside, they're exactly the same. So a left-handed bowler and a right-handed bowler, it doesn't matter. You can use these bowling shoes because they're exactly the same. They've got tacky heels and they've got nice sliding pads right here for you to get a good, comfortable feel on the lanes. I'm going to show you a pair of shoes right here that has pretty intense technology built in. These soles right here, they are interchangeable. If you're sticking too much, you just rip off the sole, put another one on, and you can get a different feel. Same thing with your sliding shoe and your push-off shoe. We're going to take a look up here too. This is a right-handed pair of shoes, so if you're a right-handed bowler, you would wear these shoes. Your right foot is actually your push-off foot. So you can tell with the sneaker type of sole down here, you're going to get a good push-off. This left shoe right here is your sliding shoe, and you can tell the pad up here gives you a nice slide into the lane. If you're sliding too much, you simply rip off the pad, you put another one on, and you get the feel you're looking for. It doesn't matter where you're bowling, doesn't matter what surface you're bowling on. Incredible technology built right into the bowling shoes. It just helps us be a lot more consistent. Thank you. Back to you, Brian.
It's not just the bowling ball, it's the shoes, it's the whole package. We'll come back with Derek Hamm and Bill Webb, and we'll crown an August champion here in NEBA from East Hartford next here on CPTV Sports.